When you find somebody who is good at what they do, you tend to overuse them.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
And welcome, my friends, to another Minisode. Dustin Harris, sponsored today by Anow Software. Anow.com is where you learn more about the greatest management system for appraisers out there. It was created by an appraiser, folks. It's for appraisers. It works wonderfully. Anow.com, ANOW.com. Folks, I am noticing a trend. I'm noticing a trend when it comes to my coaching, mostly my one-on-one coaching. I do a lot of that over Zoom. If you're interested, by the way, go to my website, theappraisercoach.com, click on the coaching tab. It would be my honor and privilege. With the change in my business, I have more time to do coaching, which is one of the reasons I did it, which is amazing, to spend time with you and to build your business and make you successful. But I'm noticing a trend, and it's something that I think has always been around, but it's happening more and more. And I think what's going on is people are starting to catch on to this idea of the law of delegation. The law of delegation, of course, is when you can find somebody to do it for less money than you can do it, and you can spend more time doing stuff that you need to do or want to do, right? Then the law of delegation may work for you. And the best way to describe the law of delegation and to set up the problem that some of us find ourselves in is to go back to the doctor's office analogy. It's one I've used many times on this program and many times on my coaching, is that we set up our appraisal offices like a doctor's office. And when I mean like a doctor's office, I mean you are the doctor. You're the professional. You're the appraiser, right? You should not be taking blood pressure. You should not be greeting people in the reception room. That's for nurses and assistants, right? Secretaries, receptionists. You should not be billing your clients at the end of the day. That's for a bookkeeper to do, right? Everyone in a doctor's office has their place. In fact, we would find it very odd if we went into a doctor's office, which I have actually had this experience. Well, it was a chiropractor's office, where the chiropractor met me, greeted me, did all of the prelim stuff, did what the chiropractor does, sent out the bill at the end. I mean, this was a one-man show, and honestly, I was like, oh, what kind of place am I in, right? This was a quote-unquote professional that was acting like every person in the office. Now, appraisers often do this, right? And one of the things that I've been able to assist and help appraisers do over the years is to get out of that mindset and into the mindset of delegation, right? It's a win-win. You're creating a job for someone. They're creating service and value for you. You're paying them for that service and value, which is allowing you to make more money so that you can hire more and grow. And at this point, I've got 26 people that work for me, right? Pretty awesome, because the law of delegation works. And if you can break things down into the tasks that need done, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, etc., then it works. Now, many people have had bad experiences with the law of delegation unless they go a different direction. I can help you with that. I have helped many with that, right? Because it comes down to defining roles, and it comes down to procedures, and it comes down to making sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But I was in a coaching session just this week, and I listened to this individual and the struggle that they were having. And there is a term that I've been using for, I guess, a couple years now. When I see this pop up, I use this term, and I used this term this week, and I said, John, we're going to call him John, it's not his real name, but John, you've got a problem. And he goes, I know. And I said, and I'm going to name your problem. And he goes, okay. I said, I'm going to diagnose you with Everyperson syndrome. He laughed because he had just got done telling me that he has an assistant, right? Now, he actually has several assistants, but let's just talk about one assistant because this will set it up very nicely. He has one assistant who is amazing. This person, let's say she's working for $15 an hour, is an incredible worker, very loyal, shows up on time, stays late, right? Does everything that they possibly can do to make John successful. The problem is, and this is the problem with everybody, we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. But the problem is when you find somebody who is good at what they do, you tend to overuse them. Let me repeat that. When you find somebody who is good at what they do, you tend to overuse them. And by overuse, I mean put them in too many positions. Let me state it this way. Many years ago, I hired an individual who I thought would be an excellent customer service rep. She was amazing in her interview. We did what's called Bob calls, and Bob calls are where I pretend to be an angry borrower or an AMC needing an update or what have you. You know, I'm Bob. Hey, this is Bob and I need such and such. And we role play, and I find out how well they do on the phone. And she did great in the Bob calls, and I thought this is the perfect person for my opening for a customer service rep. About 6 months down the road, she approached me and she said, Dustin, is there any way I can do data entry instead of customer service? And I was shocked. I'm like, wait a second, you're good at customer service. She goes, yeah, I put on a good face, but it's not something I enjoy. Really, let's talk. And I found out that she's very good at acting, and thus she was very good at customer service, but it's not her passion. Now, that's rare. Usually, we're not good at things we're not passionate about. Okay, but for her, we moved her from customer service to data entry, which was not a problem. We just had to move a few chairs around. And all of a sudden, she was thriving and happy again because she would much rather be, she's an introvert like me, right? She would much rather be in that position than some other position. But here's the problem, right? The every person syndrome happens when we try to put that one person in every single seat because, hey, we found a good person, we trained a good person, they're loyal, they do great at what they do, right? And so we want to do what's best for the company, we think, by putting that person in every single role. Now, the individual that I was coaching has this every person syndrome, not for themselves, but for their worker. She was amazing. She did great things. And I said, what does she do? Well, she answers phones and she schedules and she does data entry. She does research. She sets up the report. She uploads it to the cloud. She downloads it from the cloud. She uploads it to the AMC. She updates the AMC. I mean, every aspect of tier 1 and tier 2 possible she was doing. And I said, then what's the problem? Not surprising is his answer, which I'll give you when we get back from the break. Now Software, folks, has been a sponsor here on the Appraiser Coach podcast for many years, from the beginning, really. And this is a software that I am using in my business every single day. When I say that, I mean that. Every single day, I am checking in as the business operator, making sure that things are running the way that they should. As an appraiser, are my reports on time? Are we moving along the way that we should? It's got the work file in there, a map, scheduling. I mean, it's amazing, folks. This is set up for you to be more efficient. And I know some people look at the cost and they go, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. Folks, we're talking value here. I could not do the volume that I do without Now software, and thus it makes the money to pay for Now software and then some. Check them out. Go to anow.com. And if you're skeptical, try the coupon code podcast30 and try it for 90 days at a 30% discount. It's 3 months at 30% discount by using podcast30 in the coupon code. It's anow.com. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out once again in the podcast chair. And we're talking today about every person syndrome. Do you have it yourself? Are you trying to be everything to everybody? I know, folks, the adage that if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Well, folks, that's actually not a true adage. Hear me out. If you can find somebody that's more passionate about data entry than you are, guess what? They're going to do a better job than you are. And that's going to leave you time to do what you are good at. Right? Again, doctor's office analogy. The doctor may be really great at greeting people in the entranceway. Is that really where that doctor should be, or should she be back in the diagnosis room, or should she be at the surgery table? Right? We all know the answer to that. It's a no-brainer. So why are we as appraisers doing the same thing? But in this case, we're talking about an employee. Do you have that one employee? And you know who I'm talking about. Do you have that individual who is loyal to the core? Who is actually pretty darn good at most, if not everything? Do you have that person? If you do, are you tempted to use them everywhere? I would highly recommend that you don't. Now, how do you know what they are good at? Well, folks, one of the ways that you can do it is by asking them, what are you passionate about? If you could do anything at this business that you want, what would it be? Often you'll find that it's different than what you think. OmniaGroup.com, OMNIA Group.com. By the way, you can get a 10% discount on my website, theappraisercoach.com. Just go to the product section. I use Omnia religiously. Omnia is a personality profile, and it allows me to be able to know what people are really good at. And I'm telling you, folks, getting the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, but more importantly, the right people in the right seats on the bus is essential to success. Omnia helps me to do that. It can help you as well. Folks, if you have or are tempted to have every person syndrome, I highly recommend that you step back for just a moment. It would even be better to have 2 part-time people good at what they do than 1 full-time person who is filling both seats. Every person syndrome, not something you want to deal with. Folks, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.